If you've got children, chances are you've heard of this child tax credit offered by Uncle Sam. Well, here to share who will receive this money and when is our tax guru, Thoma Spade, CPA in private practice and accounting instructor at the College of Charleston. Great to see you in studio. Welcome back.
It is awesome being back in studio. We're almost like back to normal.
Almost back to normal. We're getting so close, and to celebrate, we dressed as twins.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, so I love you in the red. People not seeing themselves in the red so much now that Uncle Sam is going to do this direct deposit thing. There's a caveat to it, which we'll talk about in a second, but I want to hear more about what this is all about.
Okay, so there's this child tax credit that has been available for a long time, but you always had to wait until you filed your return to claim it against your tax liability. Now, starting in July, the IRS is going to start sending people half of the child tax credit up front. So, and they're going to do 1/6 of 1/2 sent to you per month.
Okay,
from
my
July
brain is
through
already
December.
breaking. 1/6 of 1/2.
Let's put it this way. $250 for most people.
That I understand, yes.
$300 if the child is under age 6.
Okay. That I can understand.
Yes.
I can sink my teeth into those numbers. So the credit is usually taken, or the deduction is taken against whatever you owe, if you owe anything.
Right.
But this is going to actually be money put into your pocket.
Right. This is going to be put into your pocket instead of you taking it in full at the end of the year.
And then when we get to the end of the year,
Then
when we get to the
end
next
of the
tax
year.
filing season, then we'll talk about that. Okay. So it's a certain amount of money, $250 or $300.
Right.
And then what happens?
Then what happens is you just get that in your bank account every month if the IRS has your banking information on file.
Okay.
If they don't, then there actually is a tool that you can go to on irs.gov. If you go to irs.gov/child tax credit 2021, there is a tool for you, if you aren't required to file a tax return, to go on and register to start receiving this credit. Or if you need to update your banking information or provide your banking information, you can go on there and do that too. The tool is live, it's active, but it's under something that says unenroll from payments. So you actually have to click on the button to unenroll to go on and put in your banking information. I know it sounds confusing, but that's how you're going to end up doing it.
So Uncle Sam is saying that I'm just going to go ahead and put this money into your account, unless you tell him otherwise.
Exactly. You're going to get it whether you like it or not, unless you go back and say that you don't want it.
What about people who have just had children this year, or going to have children within this time frame?
Well, if you have children and you have any sort of significant change to your filing or to your income, you can also go to that same portal at that same website, irs.gov/child tax credit 2021. And again, I think you're going to have to click on the unenroll button to go on and update your information. Hopefully, they'll change the name of that button to make it a little bit easier to understand.
Okay, yeah, that always is nice when they can make things easy to understand. Not always the case, though, with the IRS. But what happens then when you get to the next tax filing season? Because people tend to forget, oh, I got this money in my account. That's not free money necessarily.
Well, that's when, once again, we have to ask the IRS the question, that musical question in the words of the great Canadian philosopher Avril Lavigne, why'd you have to go and make things so complicated? Okay, so here's what's happening. The child tax credit has increased from $2,000 to $3,000 or $3,600 in total. But remember, people are going to start getting half of that up front. Now, when as a result, the child tax credit that you claim on the tax return is actually going to decrease. And that means your refund is going to be less next year because you got these monthly payments up front. So what I usually tell people is, if you are expecting a tax refund, well, you shouldn't just bank on a tax refund to happen anyway, because it's not smart. But if you are, I know what happens. If it's less than $500 that you usually get, you probably should opt out of receiving these payments.
Yeah, it probably sounds like a good idea because not only will you get less deducted, you might actually even have to write them a check.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay. Anything else that people need to know about these child tax credits? And also, with just about a minute left, anything else for the rest of us?
Yeah, a couple of things, and this applies to everybody. First off, if you are getting this child tax credit and they don't have your banking information and you don't want direct deposit, you can just get a check and they'll just mail you a check. But what happens if you move? And this time of year, lots of people move.
Yeah.
IRS Form 8822. You want to go to irs.gov, search change of address. It'll bring you up to that form that you can mail into the IRS to change your address. That way you still receive any communications, you still receive checks, anything like that. You should keep your address updated. Your other option is to call the main number, 1-800-829-1040. Get comfy, pour a drink, because it's going to take a while, you're going to be on hold. But you can then update your information with them over the phone, provided that you have a copy of a recent tax return to prove that you are who you say you are when you call.
And just make sure that you're coherent when they finally do pick up the phone.
That is true.
Okay, so thank you so much, Thomas. It was
Not
so
a
great
problem.
to see you
It's
again.
awesome to see you again.
Wonderful information. Of course, for any more information, they can always contact Thoma Spade directly. We'll be back after this.